the operational side of things. What do you do now to get yourself as registered on a course, to be the LF for the course? So we're going to take a look at the process and the steps. So step by step, very, very basic. For returning LFs, you probably know the process. For brand new people, this is for you. For the returning people, up to the treasury. So, the point we're going to start at is the districts or the clubs have made their application to us and they've been approved. So you have nothing to do with that. Their applications have been approved and Estelle posts their applications online. So, first thing you're going to do is once we start getting into our clinic season, which we hope is going to be towards the early part of January, you need to go online and check daily. And you'll look for the courses that are being allocated each day. That changes daily. As applications are received and they're approved, Estelle changes it every day. So it's not just going in on a Monday and going the following Monday. You need to go in almost every day to check to see what's coming up if you want to be an active LF. Once you see what's on the available for you to instruct, I'm going to look at that on the website in a little while. You're going to email Estelle with your request. Now the requests need to be within your region to start off with. We're only going to use people that are where the courses are in their geographic area. We don't be sending people from here 2 or 3 hours away unless we really have to. So first of all, look, is the course in your area? Send your email into Estelle. Estelle will then confirm your selection for that course. Once you've been selected, the first thing you do is contact the host. And the host will be on the website, which we're going to show you in a little while. Contact information from the host will be on there, and you make an initial contact with them right away saying, hi, I'm Mark Marshall, I'm going to assign LF for the course. So they know who you are right away. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the website. Okay, so we're going to go on the OSA's website and look at the course calendar right there. Click the box to load it up. Steve, you decide to slow it down a little bit after your presentation. We're a little bit too slow down, man.
I see you reached the objectives for me.
Yeah, we don't need to see the form.
Okay, so here we go. So this is what you're going to see when you open up the calendar. So looking right here to the date on the far side of the events. We're looking at what type of course it is, so it will be an active start, it could be fundamentals, it could be a 3B, it could be one of the many courses that we're doing. Club location, right here, and the date and the contact. So if you're hoping it was William Hay, there's his contact, there's his email address. And then over here is the important stuff. There we go. The important stuff. This is the important stuff. So, once you have been confirmed, so once the staff confirms that you are the LF for the course, your name will go up right there. If the background is yellow, it means that she shipped the course material to you, which we're going to cover in a little while. Or we know that you've got enough course material in stock to be able to run the course. Okay, so that's your indications. 2 indicators there. Number 1, I've been confirmed, I'm in. And number 2, if it's yellow, I've got course material coming to my house to be able to run the course. Is everybody good with that?
Is there a legend on the site? I'm supposed to remember that yellow.
The yellow, it'll be in your LF manual, which you're going to hand out in a little while, which will remind you of that. Okay? So that's the first thing right there. You've not been confirmed that your name is up on the website. You may have 4 or 5 people that apply for the same course. And then the criteria for who we're going to select for that course will come down to a few things, and obviously location, experience, what type of course it is. That's part of the selection for the LS for that course. Everybody good with that? Yep. We're going to come to that right now. Okay, so, and this is the stuff that we tend to skip and it can come back and bite us in the bum. But it's really important we take notes of this, and we're going to give you a handout at the end of the presentation that covers all of this. It's part of our operations manual. So once you call the host, you confirm that you're the LF. It's really important now to get into the policies. Into the policies right here. In our LF operations manual, it outlines and lists everything you want to talk to the host about. Two main things are: number one, the amount of participants. Our minimum amount is 15 and our maximum is 30. We cannot run a course unless we have 15 coaches registered on the course. Okay, for many reasons. And the first reason is if we're going to work them like we work you guys, we need to be able to give them a little bit of rest time when we're on the field, so not participating in every drill or every gag that we're doing. And also for the group activities that we work on, we need the numbers in there to make it successful. So 15 is the magic number.
Not even active start?
Even an active start. Okay? And 30 is the top number. So go from 15 to 30. So we need to explain that to them, and if they can't guarantee that number once we get closer to the clinic, then we have to make a decision whether we're running the clinic or not, the workshop or not. Okay? Facilities and equipment. This is a conversation that we started to get into a little bit on yesterday. Projector is just as important as the soccer balls. If we're going to go in and put on a quality presentation, a quality workshop, we need to have the tools to be able to do it. So classroom facility, boardroom facility, something where we can have our coaches come in and be comfortable and to be able to create a good learning environment and the right tools. So a PowerPoint, projector, a laptop if you don't have one, along with balls, cones, pennies, and the right size gymnasium so we can conduct all of the drills, things we've got to do to conclude our workshop. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
In the 15 to 30, is the age still 16?
16.
Okay.
Definitely.
At the time of the course, right? Not at the time of the
course.
season?
Yeah, not next week, it's the time of the course. Exactly. Okay. So, it's really important. I know we've cut the corners in the past, and I know we've tried to help host certain clubs by running these type of workshops with less numbers, or the facility's not in the right size, or not the right amount of balls, and it's not working. It's reflecting back on you as well as us. So I want to be very, very clear. Our standards have got to be met to be able to host a workshop. And again, more information is in there. Let's see if we want for us. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay, so I don't want you to be sitting there thinking, well, I get there and there's 14 participants, what do I do? Well, hopefully by the process we're going to go through in the next couple of slides, that shouldn't happen. You should be able to safeguard against that. And that's happened to me as well when I was doing courses.
What about the other way if it's 32?
We want to keep it to 30 days, as much as we possibly can. Next part here, and this is something that's going to save time. We started to introduce that with this year, and I think it was success, and we'll move on, and we've even got some ideas on how we're going to progress it and make it more beneficial moving forward. The electronic registration form. In the good old days, we had a 3-part form. Do you remember? You were returning LF, and you had to fill it in when you went back home. It took you a couple of hours to get it in alphabetical order, and you had to make sure that Estelle could read your writing, all that kind of stuff. So we're not doing that anymore. So what happens now is when a host has been confirmed that they're hosting a course, they get an electronic form, registration form, that either gets sent to them or they can download from our website. And when a coach registers on the course, they'll input the coach's information. So you don't have to do that any longer. The host now does it.
What happens if the host don't want to do it?
It's part of them hosting the course, which is part of our policy on
Run
running
into
forward.
that, right?
That's something we'll cover off at district workshops, but we've mentioned that. We'll get into that. It's their responsibility to do that. Now, what you need is to explain to them that 10 days before the course, you need to have that emailed to you so you can see who's on the course and how many coaches have registered for the course. So that should be the first flag that goes up, that you've only got 4 coaches, or 7 coaches, or a day you've got 30 coaches. Because right away you tell them to close it off, you've got 30 coaches, we're done, we can't accept any more. Or if you've only got 4 coaches, then we've really got to start working with the host to say, hey, if you can't get this number up in the next 2 to 3 days, we're going to have to seriously contemplate cancelling this course. So we're actually making contact with the host 3 times. Number 1, when you call and introduce yourself. 10 days prior to the workshop when they're emailing the registration form to you. And then you're going to contact them the 3rd time, which is right here, 7 days before the clinic, to confirm that yes, they've got 20 coaches, I've got the information from you, thank you, we're going to move forward, we need directions, how to get there, and so on. If 10 days before they've only got 7 coaches, then we've got to have a conversation and say, listen, you've got 3 days to bring the number up, otherwise we have to make a decision on Monday, we're not going to run this course. Does that make sense? Okay. And in the past, we may have left it to the Thursday or the Friday before the course, and the numbers have not gone up, and we've got there, and there's been 8 or 9 people, and it's not been a success. Yeah.
Just for clarification, it is the host that emails to you that makes the decision to cancel.
Well, we're going to guide them in that direction.
Guiding them in that.
By the Monday.
It's the host that gets canceled.
That's 7 days
7 days
before.
prior.
7 days before, yes.
But they can register the coaches after the last day. They don't have to.
No,
No?
not anymore, not anymore. We're now saying if they've not got the numbers 7 days before, we're not going to be.
No, I mean, but if they have 20 7 days before, they can have 30 for the
Sure.
next 3 days.
Oh, yeah, as long as you get the minimum numbers, yeah, we can continue to take more up to 30 over. You're right. Yeah, yes, sir.
I have shown up to clinics where, they had only booked a field and a classroom, but no gym, right? So is that,
Again,
Do
it's
they
something
have to have
they
a
have
gym?
to make sure that they meet all of our requirements, and that's why this is only a draft. We're going to hand these out to you right after the presentation to take a look at, and you need to have this with you to go over the requirements with the host. Okay, we've got to get our standards up on everything we do, and that goes from an active start right the way up to a preview license. We've got to make sure we get the standards right for the quality of the equipment and the quality of the facilities. So when our coaches come in, our brand new coaches, our returning coaches, they go away with a good experience right the way across the board. Not only from the learning facilitators, but also balls blown up. We've got the right size to be able to run our clinics.
so are you saying that if they're planning it on the field, they still have to have a backup
They
gym?
should have a backup gym. Depending on the time of year, if it's July, no, we can go out there, it's warm, we can operate in the rain. But if it's in November or May, where we could have a little bit of conflict in weather, they could have a backup one.
But we're not worried about rain?
Not worried about rain,
Okay.
no. Swamps at all. Yeah. Yes.
If we're asked to confirm 7 days prior, they might not have an office that's open on, of course, it's Saturday or Sunday, which is most of the time the case. So we're leaving a message on that, unless
Well,
they're.
via email.
Yeah.
If we can go via email, as long as you've got that, and you should be getting email addresses from the hosts to be able to do it electronically rather than on.
Might not get an answer back.
As long as you make contact via email. Yes.
Those 15 in, oh, sorry, go ahead. Are those 15 in attendance or 15 registered?
Well, if they're registered, they should attend.
Yeah, because we've had, showing up and 12 show up because 3 fathers had a hockey tournament and they decided to go there.
It's like with us, we had 5 guys drop out yesterday due to illness. There's not much you can do about that, but the course was planned and went ahead because you had 15 registered. That's all that we were interested at this point. Okay? Are we clear on that? There's no there's been a grey area over the years. Yeah. Charles?
That's basically the question I was going to ask Mark was the fact that you've got 20 shown on your list, etc., 18, nice healthy number.
Yep.
We show up on the day and there's only 12, 13 there.
Yeah, that's been out of our control. So as long as we get the 15 registered, we do it.
Yeah, but I think what he's asking, Mark, when
We
you
go
go
ahead with the
there,
12.
I've been there and there's maybe 20 registered, you get there, there's 11 people, do you
Run
walk
it.
away from the course, say, sorry, 11 guys, it's cancelled, right?
Well, yeah, we have, obviously, common sense, once we get there, if we've got 8 to 9 guys, we know we can't win, we're going to have to apologize.
No, because we know depending what the course is.
But if we're 14 or we're 13, we can
Use your own discretion.
use your own discretion. Okay, but you follow the policies and we've covered our backs and that we make sure that the course, so you've done your homework prior to this. Okay, that's the key thing, and that's what's been let us down. We're not doing our homework prior to these courses. Are we good on that? Everybody okay with that? Honestly? Yep. Okay, so, the day of the workshop. This is really, this is again stuff that's covered in our operations manual, stuff that we've been going over, and I've been coming to these things for 15 years. And we all go, yeah, but we don't do it. So this is really, really important again to go over. You're receiving a package, a workshop package. And in the package, you'll get your workbooks, which we gave you drafts of yesterday. You'll get a certificate, depending on what course it is, and you'll get critiques. DVD? No, there's no critiques now. What's the last one? DVDs? One other thing.
Waiver?
Waiver.
So it's not going to be the one in the book, it's going to be a separate sheet.
It'll be a separate sheet. So you're going to get your workbooks, you're going to get your DVDs, you're going to get your waiver, you're going to get certificates. Okay? Just 4 things.
No cost of obligation, did you
No, I'm
say?
going to come to that. Okay? So we're trying to speed things up and we want to cut back on, obviously, mailing stuff backwards and forwards and speeding the whole process up. And that's why we've gone back to the electrical, we've gone to the electronic forms. And as we move on, you'll see that from now on, there's no mailing stuff back to us, it's all electronic. Okay? So check to make sure, not the day of, a couple of days before, when you see your work package in the mail, you've got the right books and you've got the right certificates. It's no good the day of. So quick double check. Here's a big one. Arrive 30 minutes before we start. What time did we start this morning?
8 o'clock.
There's guys coming through the door at 8 o'clock. We start at 8 o'clock, so you need to be here 30 minutes before. If you can't get here on time for one of our things, then I really got a question, can you be on time for a client that you wanted a workshop to come in? And it's the first impressions that these brand new coaches have coming in to that room if the LF arrives late or bang on time. They've made the effort to get there. You've got to make sure that you make the effort to get there for them and you're prepared to meet as well. Yes? No? Any discussion on that? I don't think there should be.
Mark, there is, because, and maybe now the times have changed. When it's 8 to 6, the caretaker doesn't open the door till 8. So I'm there, I'm ready to go, but I can't start at 8 because I'm not in the room yet,
This
right?
goes
So does
back-
that mean that now the host will have to book it a half an hour before?
That's, again, goes back to our policies here, having enough time before we start and enough time after. So you've not got the caretaker trying to get you out when you're finished, then you must book the facilities for the amount of time that we're running the course for. So if it's an
Plus
active
30
start, you know, we're going to need 4 hours. An active start course is 3.5 hours, so we're going to need 4 to 4.5 hours for the facilities. So again, it's important stuff that you brought up there that we'll talk to the host about. Yes?
Mark, as you said earlier about
It's been
information about attendees, equipment, it's all preventative, right? It's all stuff that we can do to prevent.
It's all about our pre-organization, our communication with the host. We should get there, everything should be ready to go. You go in, you do your job, you come out. You shouldn't be running around looking for balls or pennies or arguing with the custodian, the caretaker that we're not open on time. All this stuff has to be done pre-workshop. And honestly, it'll make your life a lot easier. It'll make the experience a lot better for the coaches coming in. And believe me, you're going to look that much better. Believe it or not, booking the facilities and blowing the balls up isn't your responsibility. Guess who gets blamed at the end of the day? It's you, and it reflects back on us. So let's get the onus, let's get the standards up, let's make sure we communicate with the hosts. Yep. Yes.
So I have my I have a suggestion for you guys, because I've had so many problems in the past. When I talked with the host, and it was the same thing when Alex, you guys contacted me, I said, yes, I'll go. This is what I need. Do not provide me with a classroom with desks facing the front that I can't move the tables. Because those hosts, they think classroom, they think old style classroom. There's 16 people, I need 4 tables with if I can't make round tables, make sure I can move them around. To me, that's the most important thing when you talk to the hosts.
Mark, they spoke to the school board, and usually they have very little control over what the school allocates of the classroom. Although if you have the choice, I know what you're saying, but I'm very familiar with how we book these rooms. You go to the school board, and it's a school board, not a school, and tell them which school you want, and when you show up, they give you a stupid room, and I had one of the little kids' desks, but what do you do? They didn't even know it. Yeah. But if you can, I agree with you. But
and if we get there early, mate, we can move the tables around and
well,
try to create it ourselves.
Right, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Back to getting there early so we can get Okay, next part. Registration forms. Now that registration form that we spoke about at the very, very beginning, it's really, really important. Now they've emailed it back to you 10 days prior to that workshop. You're now going to take a copy of that with you to the workshop to validate the courses the coaches who are registered on the course are actually on your list. Okay. So
that form is too big to print it out, though.
You're talking electronically, so you should have a USB stick loaded onto to bring with you. So you're going to do a PowerPoint presentation.
Right there on your screen.
You're going to have it right there.
That's important. And again, taking attendance throughout the day. If you just take it in the morning, we got guys sneaking out in the afternoon, we're not going to know whether they were there the whole time. So do attendance at least twice a day. Once in the morning, if you have a lunch break, right after lunch. If you have a working lunch, you probably won't have to do it. But keep an eye on these coaches to make sure they're there to fulfill the hours that we need to complete the course. Yes, sir.
I think we also need to make sure that they do have a projector and then the laptop, because obviously it's either you bring your own or they provide the laptop as well.
Again, they must do this, or else we must have this arranged pre-course, or we're not running the course. Yes?
I think, Mark, you can print part of the Excel sheet. You know, and just print the names. It won't be the full form, you're right.
Well, you can just cut it off.
Yeah, just cut it,
Yes. So again, if guys don't show up, let's go back to the earlier point that was made. We got 25 people that are registered. We get to the course, there's only 22. So at that point now you're going to make your adjustments on that electronic form and remove the 3 names of the coaches who haven't shown up. So when that final registration comes through, we know who's attended, who's completed the course. That's your chance to change your forms. Are we good with that? Yeah? Okay. Once you've done that, then we start to distribute. You go to say technical materials, including the waivers. So they get to sign these waivers before the course actually starts. It's no good as they're halfway through the heart attack signing it. We've got to get it done first thing in the morning. Okay, so if anything happens, we're covered there. So it's important to get these waivers signed early in the day.
Mark,
Okay.
Mark,
Yes.
the attendance sheet that they get, that's the working one, and then we have to input that into the official registration form to Estelle, right?
Say again, mate?
Are there 2 forms?
Are there 2 forms or just
One form. One form.
Okay, so the one last year that they got is a worksheet that we had to input into the master one. No longer
Don't have to do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's put your work down.
So the one we see is the one that they're gonna get.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then you need a little bit of courage for the next part. This is when you start presenting. You take a deep breath and you look back to today and all the things that you've learned. Okay? Little quote from one of my heroes, Winston Churchill. And this is important. I think if you think back at everything that Mark's talked about and some of the situations that we've found ourselves in this weekend, we always want to speak, we always want to be in the forefront, we want to take over. Sometimes, as Winston Churchill says right here, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. But courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. And that's a big shift in what we're doing, isn't it? Live listening now, asking and listening. So straight to our workshop. Okay, we need you to be a champion for our sports. It really is important. We know we've got lots of participants, we've got lots of new players, we've got lots of coaches coming in. Remember, you may be the first official coach that somebody's mum and dad coaches have seen, and you're going to make an impression on them, or you could make an impression on them that will encourage them to continue on coaching or turn them off coaching. So you're our champions. You're out there doing the work, the foot soldiers work, that's selling our game, promoting our game, improving our game, and also bringing in our new coaching methodology and standards. Not something that I'm doing, or Estelle, or Alex. You guys are out there in the trenches doing the really, really hard work. So it's really important that you're out there and you're the champion. We're going through a little bit of a change, or a big change when it comes to how we're presenting, and it's important that we get it right. We're championing that for us. We want you to facilitate the workshop in accordance with our rules and our policies. And again, I know I keep saying this, but I want to keep going back to this because this is a really important document. We're going to get a draft of this and a little while. In here, we'll go over all the policies and the procedures, the timelines, and what you must follow when you present in each course. It's all laid out, it's all in black and white, very, very easy to follow. Look the part, be the parts. We've supplied the brand new LFs coming in this weekend with the shirts. And as you do more courses, then we'll send you a tracksuit and a second shirt. Returning LFs, you hit the jackpot this year. 2 shirts and a tracksuit. Big time.
No shorts.
No shorts, man. No shorts and stock, unfortunately.
We're wearing the second shirt as shorts.
So it's important that you wear the stuff. You're representing not only yourself, you're representing the Ontario Soccer Association, you're representing the sports. So please wear the stuff that you've got and make sure it's ironed, it's clean, present yourselves in the best possible way. Yes, sir.
After seeing Roy's legs, I'm glad we didn't get short.
Billy's still got his shorts on, man. Did you get interviewed no shorts, though?
No, Bill.
This is a point that's been brought up several times. I just want to be positive and upbeat. I think you brought it up, and Mark's brought it up. Positive and upbeat. It's the first impressions, and I just go back to when Dick Bates was part of the Canadian Soccer Association. He talked about a book called Blink. It talks about how people create an impression of somebody within 10 to 30 seconds. And that's very, very important. Looking the part, being upbeat. You're upbeat in that first 5 to 10 minutes. But like Mark has been over the course of the weekend, you're going to create the right start and get everybody engaged and going. So upbeat and positive. Again, points we're going over again, but it's really, really important when we're prepared. Now, we know the information that we've given you over the weekend is draft format, and as Alex said to you very, very first thing yesterday morning, we're 95% there. We will get the updated information out to you. We'll have it to you before the courses start, I promise. We're not going to send you out to conduct courses if we haven't given you the information. But you need to take the time to read it and to prepare and to think about some of the things that Mark's talked about, come up with your own way that you're going to have your guide on how you're presenting. With your sticky notes with stuff highlighted, I'm sure we've all got our own techniques of doing it. You can't just show up and do it on a whim. You must be prepared. Very, very important. And know material. And again, some of the things that we've covered over the last 2 days, applying the basic principles of adult learning. Big shift. We're moving away from what I'm doing right now to what you've been doing for the last 2 days. Very, very important. Any questions on that stuff? Okay, post-workshop. So we've conducted the courses, and if it's an active start, it's a 3.5-hour course. If it's fundamentals, it's 7 to 8 hours. And we're going to go over the water, maybe a 7 or 8 hour course in a little water. So as soon as your workshop's over, first thing to do is encourage the participants now to complete the workshop evaluation. And in the past, we've done it there and then, we've handed the forms out, there's been no names on it, they sign it, they hand it back in, you mail it into the office. Again, we'd like to speed that process up. So we're working on an evaluation online this week, and it'll be part of your operations manual. There'll be a website where the participants will go, fill the information in, and then we'll be able to draw it off or record off how the course went. Yeah? Does that make sense? So again, less work for you, less mailing for you to do, and it gives the participants a chance to go home, think about the course, maybe 24 hours, and reflect on it rather than doing it there.
Question?
Yes?
Are we going to be able to see those evaluation forms? Because in the end, really, you know, it's probably not Estelle that needs it so much as me,
Yep.
right?
Well, we'll have to get back to you. We're working on that right now. How we're going to do that, we haven't quite worked that out. We're working on that this week. Hold on.
The host, they pay for 15 participants. I don't feel comfortable to collect the checks.
You haven't got it, so don't worry about it.
I think I know what he's talking about. Can I just step in for a second? It's the balance of participant fees.
The balance of participant fee, yeah.
Although, if they have the check handy, you can take it and just mail it in. If not, they'll have 10 days that they've got to submit.
Can you set it up so I can send the check electronically?
Cash only.
Years will do that. Will.
But if you're not comfortable with that, you don't have to do it. You can ask the host to mail it in if you're not comfortable with that. Okay? That's right. The host is supposed to do it.
Mark,
yes.
Is there any way that you can make it, you know, they won't receive their certificate until they've done the evaluation? Because if it's online, how many participants are really going to do it?
What we're going to do, mate, is and Alex and I are working on this right now. We're going to take a look at what happens after the first year. So if we get a decrease in people filling in the evaluation forms, then maybe we're going to go back to the original hard copy. So we're going to take a look at that, mate. But no, we've got to get certificates. Otherwise, we end up going back to mailing certificates out. But it's a fair comment, and we'll definitely look at that. Yes, mate.
Can the people send the instructor a copy as well?
We're going to work that out, mate. See, once we get this down pat, we should be able to give you the link to go in and read what they've actually put in. But we're working on that process. So again, once we get it confirmed, it'll be in that. If we don't get it finalized, then we'll go back to the original hard copy. We're working on that right now. Yeah, yes, mate.
Mark, the waiver forms that I believe that we signed first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Which I do, by the way, because I love it, because then I don't have the big one, you know, during the day. So, but the question is, you want to do everything online.
Yep.
What's all these hard copies? Where are they going? Do we have to mail them in?
Yes, please. For now, they're going to wait for us, and we're going to look at how we can speed that. We've got to check with Lisa on our liabilities on that.
Okay.
I don't know whether we still need that or not, Charlie, but we're going to talk to Lisa about that and get back to you on it. Hopefully we won't have to, but until we get that clarified, that's the route we're going to go.
Scan them and send them to...
Yeah, even better, mate. Even better. We have time to do that.
Mark?
In what direction?
Okay, so we've collected these forms. If we're scanning in stuff and sending it to you, should we delete the files, emailed it? Like
all it is a way that they call it.
Right, no, I
There's nothing on there that
but the course registration form, what they use for addresses, email addresses, that's all confidential.
Because we're running a course that requires an age restriction, we are in our right to collect information that would allow us to register people within that regard. So it is the OSA's choice to collect that information, and we are, I believe, in our right. There's a restriction on the course with an age requirement, so it shouldn't be a big issue. We don't get it very often. It's an NCCP requirement. You know, if somebody chooses not and absolutely refuses to click the birth date, so be it.
Okay, but there's the safeguarding of the information after you have it, like
Yeah.
you can't just post that online.
No.
So what are the OSA's policies about the safeguarding of that information?
It comes in, it goes to a database, they enter it, it's on a database. You have a password to access that to enter the system.
No, but we still have the electronic copy. We want to remove that from our files.
I think once we acknowledge receipt,
Yeah.
we received it.
Once it's confirmed, you'll keep them on, that's a valid point, not for your career. Once you start on these, they're going to be stating it, at the end of clinic season,
They're saying once they've confirmed
Okay, anything else while we're on that? Yes?
Just a question on the age limitation,
Yes.
Mark. Are the referees, is it still 14? For referees to take a course?
Take our course?
No, to take
Oh,
referees
I don't know
course. I
about
believe
that.
it's still 14. So my question is, why can't we have 14-year-olds coming into the coaching classes?
it's an NCCP and combined with the CSA, they've made that decision. I asked them about that, that's it. It's because the referee course is a youth course, so specifically designed with mentorship in mind with youth programs. Different ballgame.
Yeah, different thing. So 16, and they have to be 16 as of the course. Okay, so we're on that. We're on that third point now. Complete, submit electronic expense forms. We're going to go over how you fill your expense forms in, what you're entitled to, all the exciting new payments that we've got for you coming up. I know you're just waiting for that part. That's what you're waiting for, right? So we're going to talk about that in a little while. But again, that's going to be electronic with your registration form. That comes in right away. The faster you send it in, the faster you pay. So we're going to put a little bit of a mandate on that this year. We would like it in within 7 days.
Get them on in 7 days.
Ask us that. It will certainly be a lot quicker. 7 days, because right now we cut down the workload from you. Everything is electronic. There's no reason why you can't scan it. You can scan stuff in or get the forms back to us within 7 days. Is that fair? Yes, no. Yeah.
It should be 5 days.
5 days? Maybe going for 4? 3?
Thank you.
24 hours?
24 hours. We get it back.
It's all about the Scotsman and money, man. They're getting it right away. Okay, so last little point here. Now, if Estelle will send you out enough material for 30 participants. So if you've only got 18, you bring the rest of the stuff back with you, and you'll start to gather that, and you'll start to get your own little inventory of material. So then, as you do that, there'll be less maintenance from Estelle to use your material. So make sure you collect all the unused material, you bring it back, and you store it at your house.
Good Joseph.
Joseph. In Joe's area, Joseph.
For the new after start people starting, if the host asks for the course materials, the DVDs and whatnot, over the 15, no, it's returned. You take it back with you. That becomes your on hand. That's what Mark's talking about.
Brian, you see a little gym and player up there for you, mate? Okay, here's the good stuff. You ready for this? Okay, mileage. Nothing has changed on mileage. 35 cents a kilometre. Accommodation is to be approved by Estelle. Just kidding. I'll be approving any accommodation. Accommodation will come down to, are we sending you in a distance where we feel it's too far to drive backwards and forwards and conduct a course, a 2-day course. So I'll approve that. There's no meals unless it's an overnight stay. So the expenses on that, whenever, for the 15 years that I was instructing us at the study, it was never clear on what we could claim and what we couldn't claim. It's clear now you can't claim it, unless you're staying overnight. Don't worry, there's good news coming from it. It's good news. Yeah.
You can just get a 10.
Take a sandwich.
Okay, is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Billy, you ready for this one?
Yes.
Okay, now this is a little different than what we've done before, and I've worked with Alex and Estelle on this as much as possibly can, coming from an instructor standpoint and understanding the amount of work that he put into this. We've tried to come up with a fair package, and I think it's a good package compared to what we've had previously. And not to bore you or anything like that, but when I first started off, and Rick was my mentor, I think I got $60 for the day, and you got a bit more because you were mentoring.
It's not that much.
I did, man.
What Rick didn't tell you was you were entitled to 80.
So, we've come a long way. We've come a long way from those days, Eric. A long, long way. And that's work that Jimmy did before us, and we're trying to move it up. And we know there's lots of competition out there for your time. Quality people, you're here because we've selected you. We want to try to reimburse you as best as we possibly can for the amount of time that you put in here. So, an active start, we're going to pay you for 4 hours. So an active start course is 3.5 hours, so we're going to give you an extra half an hour for prep. Okay? Yeah, it's not a big deal, but it is more than we ever got before. Fundamentals. Now, fundamentals, when the courses were rolled out from CSA, the fundamentals were logged as 7-hour courses. Okay, in previous conversations we've had, or recent conversations we've had at CSA, they're now logging them as 8 hours. But the 8 hours is they built in an hour for lunch. So we're saying if you can now do a working lunch and keep the course to 7 hours, and you'll still get paid for 8 hours and 1 hour's prep. Or you can take the hour's lunch. It's up to you. That's a decision that you're going to make as an LF. Do I want to run 7 hours and no lunch, and do a working lunch, or do I want to go split it up and put an hour in between? Again, it'll depend on facilities as well, what facilities you're working in, so you need to take that into consideration. Either way, you get paid the same amounts. Yes, that's what I think.
If the host applies for 8 hours and books their facility, it's an 8-hour course. And so if you, when you arrive there, are making a conscious decision whether you're going to the half hour or just wanted to clarify that it's not actually you making the decision on the hours of the course. The host books it, course hours will be there, then you work within that time frame. That's it.
Good. Learning to train, soccer for life, the 12, again, if you go back to the format we talked about, whether it be 14 or 16 hours. Again, if you're working lunch, you're not working lunch, so the 14 hours, 16 hours, and it's $6.40 for the weekend. Yeah? How about that? You know about that? Yeah, all right, so that is the good news. Is it good news?
Yeah.
Really good news? I think it's fantastic news. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
I don't know.
That's good.
Good. Mark,
Yes.
he's our man.
Thanks, Rick. I'll still give that extra $20 I owe you for that.
Mark,
Yes.
here's the problem.
Oh, no. What is it, Martin?
There's a problem. If you are not going to meet capacity, you're wasting your time, because who's going to get the course? So everybody inside here, and that's Alex's job and your job and the association's job. So make sure you get back to capacity, because right now, many of the courses would not be mandatory. Clubs would never do something if it's not mandatory. So the people inside here have to make sure the courses take place. If they want to scramble, 15 people for one.
Correct. And I'll answer that by going back to my earlier points. The better the job we do, the higher our standards are. Word will spread that the oversight courses are led by first-class LFs, and we need to get as many of these courses in our club as we possibly can. So it comes down to our work as a group, our work sending the information to you so you can do the job properly, and we'll do that. So it comes down to us all working together. Yes, sir. Mark. Hang on, mate.
You're back on, Mark. But also, responsibility goes to each of you in this room to get out there and tell the community about these courses and let them know they're there and sell them to the community because they're needed. And to talk to Martin's other point, we're very well aware of when we're starting to look at, and I'll touch on it in the LTPD presentation after this, when we're looking at the future of competitive structures and other things that are happening, we're very much looking towards standards and mandating things. So we're aware of that will be coming, but we're just not there yet in the model. So at the moment, there is a little bit of gap between where we're heading and where we're going, so the importance comes on all of you to deliver a first-class sort of, to facilitate a first-class course, as well as to let people know about it and the positive word of mouth that will spread.
Go ahead. Bobby first, then you go.
What standards does the competitive coach, the new competitive coach, have to have as of January? Because in the old code it was level 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So we're talking about, you know, we spread the work, but surely there's got to be a standard spec for that new competitive coach, what he has to have.
Yep, definitely. I think that information came out via Alex's letters. When was that, Bobby? Back in September. That those decisions were made as far as standards for competitive coaches.
New rep coaches, what do they have to have?
New rep coaches, it's in the documents that Alex sent, it's posted on the OSA website for months. Rep coaches need soccer for life.
So that's it.
Or learning to train, depending on the age group. Competitive
So
soccer.
just by age group,
So
right?
those are
Alex, so it's still the same.
Yes, all the old senior.
Okay, or the old route.
Correct,
Right.
but they'll be MEB as well, be trained, right?
Right.
So they'll be the soccer specific and the MEB.
Okay.
We're going to go over that. I think Alex is probably a good point to go back over that slide we talked about on Pathway. And again, it's in your...
Yeah, I know, I didn't know if it changed or whatever.
We're going to go over that. Okay, custom work set. Now, this has not been finalised. We're waiting for board approval on this. I thought it was important that we gave you the information on this. Again, don't take this as gospel. Wait for board approval on this. And I wanted to explain this to you for a couple of reasons. Number one, that we've got two options for active starts. So option number one, currently right now, stands a club head coach Peterborough? In Peterborough. So he's a trained LF. This club now can offer the active start option one, and it's $20 per coach that attends the course. Because your club will either say the Spanish part of your salary to do this course, or the club will pay you extra to conduct the course. So if you're an individual in here, a club head coach or a technical director in the club, then it's $20 per coach. If a club wants to offer an active start and they don't have a trained LF in their staff, then we have to send one of our trained LFs in, and the cost is $50 per coach. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to throw a little footnote in there. Anybody that runs the option one needs to be approved by us. Okay, so we want to make sure there's no under the table stuff going on, and we've not got deals being done left, right, and centre. If Stan is asked to go run an active start in Burlington, then it's got to be approved by us, and it's $50 a coach because Stan is now an LF working for us to conduct that course. Okay? Yeah? Question?
Well, I'm asked to see what a club, so I'm not going to be delivering many because nobody's going to want me if they're going to pay $30 per coach to deliver a session.
You would do.
Yeah, but some clubs don't have a head coach, right?
Yeah, so you'll be used for clubs that don't have club head coaches or technical directors, and that's what we brought on quite a few new LFs, and that we really feel that this course is going to take off. Yeah, yes, sir.
Can you get, such as like stamps and things, if someone from another club say, well, we want stamps, they're running.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, but it comes through our office, and they pay $50.
So it's still going to be 50, won't be 25.
Yeah, it has to be approved. We have to make sure that whoever's conducting these courses has been here this weekend and been trained so they understand the process of how we move forward. And we hope moving forward to expand our LF numbers to a lot more club and coaches who are part of our LF staff that conduct these courses in their own clubs moving forward. Yes, ma'am.
For the first option, the club is expected to pay or cover the cost of the instructor. So like the OSA wouldn't be paying for the instructor in that case.
So you'll say to
Is
Bob,
that right?
Yeah, or you can say, Bob, it's part of your salary, you're going to do it, or Bob, we're going to pay you whatever.
Just paying for the materials.
Okay?
Say it again, Mark, could you repeat that? Could you repeat that for us?
Yeah, sorry. So,
Option one is only for materials.
option one is for materials, and the club will be using their trained LF. So again, Stan, the club will use Stan because he's the club head coach and the technical director. If they decide to pay Stan extra to run it, they do it, or they say, Stan, it's part of your salary. Does that make sense? Stan doesn't want to do it. He wants a new contract.
Stan's not gonna tell him for option one.
I wouldn't get option one. I come to your club, you come to my club.
So, this question from Dermot over here, guys. Just want to clarify. So, what are they going to get? So, they're going to get, each coach that comes on, guys, please. Each coach that comes on will get the workbook, will get the DVD, will get the certificate. That's part of the course package. Okay? So they're going to get just the same as we would do $50 or $20. They're get exactly the same.
Is it still 15 minimum and 30 maximum?
You got it.
So this fee is just what the OSA is charging the clubs. The club has to rent the gymnasium, they can charge them.
And Billy's pulled up my next point for me. And I'll come back to the other questions. The reason why we're giving you this is to give you an idea of the costing, but also we want to try to keep a measurable on what clubs are charging. So as Billy said, that's the cost of the coach. Now the club has to go rent the facility on top of that. But we want to make sure that clubs are not out there making a whole whack of money off these things. So you're our ears and eyes. So if Billy goes in and does an active start in Newmarket, and they're charging $75, and then he goes and does an active start in Aurora, and they're charging $150. Flag's got to go up somewhere. Why is there such a big difference in costing? So we want you guys to come let us know here if you're seeing that disparity in prices. We try to keep it down as low as we could. No issue making money off these things. It's an educational course. Okay. All right. So the fundamentals, which is a one-day course. So the top two course, the content's the same, the amount of time is the same. It's 3.5 hours. Fundamentals is $75 for the coach, and that's for either a 7 or 8 hour course, depending on how we work it. And then Learn to Train and Soccer for Life is a 2-day course. It's a full weekend, going back to the way we used to do it. Got more time with the coach, and the material spread out for 2 days. Yeah, makes sense? Alex?
Just one thing to add. Why we're doing this is to lower barriers to participation, to get more coaches, to provide a vehicle to get more coaches on these licenses. That's why you've got 2 price points there. So we're really making an attempt to do that because the lack of qualified coaches, the lack of depth is an issue in Canada. So we're trying to look at ways to get more people on these licenses. That's why that's being done. Over time, depending how this first pilot goes, we'd like to roll that out into the fundamentals even as well. So we're lowering barriers for other levels. But we're going to have to see how this goes, and we'll be relying on you to complete that throughout the process. But this was something that came back to us very, very strong that was needed.
Go ahead, Mike.
To the segue to that, why wouldn't you start off with fundamentals, given that probably 95% of all coaches come in at that age group from 6 to? We've already, someone brought up, I'm not even sure how many coaches are going to take an active start yet. So
let me try to answer that best way I can. And I can give you my experiences on that. I've come from a club where we had 4,000 players. 1,000 of those players were in the age groups from 4 to 6. So the majority of our coaches within our club, I'm sure most clubs are like that, are at that lower level. So they're the active start, it's the 4 to 6 year olds, and some clubs put programs on from, some clubs don't. So we're really trying to get in at the bottom end, the brand new coaches, mum and dads coming in. We're not trying to over-educate them, we're not trying to make it where it's an 8-hour course where they're not going to come and do it. We put a course together where it's 3.5 hours. We saw some of the material yesterday. It's soccer related, it's fun, it's movement, all that kind of stuff. Really trying to get the brand new coaches into a course where we're getting some consistency right across the country. So we thought the methodology behind it was getting in there nice at the younger age groups, where we can make an impact, where we can make a good impression, and where we can hopefully engage the coaches who will come back and do the next stages. I know when I used to do stuff up in Newmarket, we'd run 2 sessions, we'd run one on field and one in classroom, and that was around 4 hours. This is tying in line with what most clubs do. I'm sure you do the same, I'm sure you do the same, but it gives us a little bit more consistency across the country and they're very, very important. We've got some clubs still doing 9-a-side at 5 and 6. We've got some clubs doing 3v3. So, you know, this just gets the message out a little bit more consistent. Yeah. It's a big one now. It's a big one.
What happens if a club wants to run 2 active sessions in one day?
Sure, you can do that.
What happens if it costs for the expenses for the
Yeah, so you hear that? So if the club wants to run 2 active starts in one day, they're 3.5-hour courses per. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. You've got an instructor in there for full day.
I'd just be interested to see how many courses in fundamentals you run, because that's basically house league coaches. And for our club, we have 250 house league coaches, maximum over $15,000 if they want, which we never have. So, but it's house league, or ours is developmental soccer program. Maybe there's different names for it. I'm not sure. I'd just be interested to see how many are going to have their coaches in the house league take these courses. We should.
You should. You're right, we should. And again, it's something that we're going to review after 12 months' time. We don't know why.
Yes, I know.
I think this one, I think the active starts is the big thing that we've never really focused on before. We need a lot of numbers in there.
I think if we expose more of our entry-level parent coaches to a more structured, like we do an active start, because the base is larger, we're going to have more people interested, we'll be motivated to use the fundamentals and so on. All we're doing truly is increasing our base. So that should hopefully take care of it.
Yeah, that's right. That's the future right there, isn't it? It's the future of anything we do within our clubs.
Looking at this thing, so we go back to the registration. You're not going to have the So the host is now saying we have somebody, but we want somebody.
There will be an application process. There will be an application that they can.
Guys, listen please.
Option 1 or option 2. It will specify who their club head coach is, technical director that's qualified for this program. And I'll go back to the confirmation. Yes, done deal. So there will be an application process involved, which will probably be on the same form.
Okay, did we get that? Yeah? Any more questions on that, folks? No, it's pretty straightforward. And if you, one last point, if you go back to our price breaks here, they're cheaper than what they were last year. So we're under what we were charging last year. Sure. Yes, sir.
Just one point. We're sharing this information with you now. It is subject to board approval at the next meeting. So we have good, we're comfortable sharing this with you, but I just wanted to let you know, just wait. That's why we have to finalise this before we can go to print and let our post know. So there's one step still to go.
And we're within, what, 2 weeks of that, Alex?
Yeah, we might be able to get it done beforehand, but I just wanted to be aware that it's still subject to
So as soon as that's approved, our applications will go online and we'll start booking these workshops. Okay, support and evaluation. Now, I'm just talking about for the new LFs coming in. And also this applies to returning LFs. If you want to go down to you're more than welcome. If you're a brand new LF this weekend coming in, what we're going to ask you to do is we will pair you up with another LF. So if I'm brand new, Stan's a returning LF, Estelle will make arrangements for me to go and observe a workshop that Stan's running. That's the first part of my support. The next time, I'll go with Stan and I will run a portion of the workshop. Stan will run a portion of the workshop. Stan will give me a little bit of feedback on what I can improve on, what I need to spend less time on, more time on. The third part is then we send you out and you will run the workshop on your own. Okay? So there's the 3 steps, and we hope we've given you enough time to work with a qualified individual to give you information. This has been on for years. This is how I started off, and I was lucky enough to work with Rick. And Rick helped me for the first year. It was fabulous knowing that I had something to rely on for information. You've done mentorship programs, you've done mentorship programs, so we offer that support. Then, and this is again something that we're working on right now, it comes under our budget plans, is we'd like to think moving forward that we'll be able to assign you to an MLF. So you as an LF will have an MLF that you will work with directly. So you may assign you to Martin. Depending on where, if you're up north, you may get assigned to Rick. So if you've got any issues or things you're not sure about, your first contact will be Rick, your first contact will be Martin. And if they can help you out via a conference call or via email, that's the first contact with you. Then the next stage of that will be your MLF will start to attend some of the courses that you're presenting to be able to give you feedback that day. And you saw part of the evaluation forms that we used on the field there, and it's more of a debrief as well as some feedback on what we think we can do to get better, or hey, that's fabulous. So we're going to give you support in the field as well. Okay? And that can happen once, twice, depending on the amount of NLFs we train. We can train more people. It also depends on the amount of courses you do. So moving forward, that's what we're looking at for support and evaluation for you to start off with. And if you are a returning LF, you're still going to get support as well. Try not to say no. So evaluation will be verbal and written. Okay, so, and again, we'll get copies of that back in the share, so we're all on tune with what's going on. We are hoping, again, moving forward for 2012, that we can run workshops like this, but in 3 regions. So rather than bringing everybody in under a big group, we break it up into 3 regions and we run this 3 times. So if you happen to be ill this weekend, like some of the guys are, you've got another option to go to another workshop. Okay? But again, it comes down to the reason why we don't do it. One of the reasons why we don't do more of these, and I always used to ask that question. I always just say to myself, how come we don't do this 3 or 4 times a year when I was in my life? Well, the cost. Believe it or not, the amount of money just to host this event this weekend is around $30,000. It's a lot of money for one weekend. So that's one of the reasons why we don't do more. But we're planning to do it a little bit more as we move forward. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. As I mentioned earlier on, with the active start, we want to increase our LF base. So we're looking to bring more people on board as we move forward. Hopefully, that the demands of the courses from the active start, we want to get more club head coaches and technical directors certified so they can start to run these courses in their own homes. We'd like to increase our MLF base. So you've seen the individuals, seen the work that the guys have done, the ladies and the gentlemen have done over the course of the weekend. We need more of that, especially if our LF base is going to increase. We need more MLFs to be able to support the LFs. So we're looking for people within the room to be able to move forward to become an MLF. So that will be part of your support and evaluation. Have we got someone that's in the field that's doing a fabulous job that we can look to move up to the next level? To be an LF and moving forward from this point onwards, to be able to do anything that we've talked about, any of the courses, you should have, or you had to have been here this weekend. So anybody that wasn't here this weekend, or anybody that skipped out or has not completed the full course, will not be allowed to conduct any workshops moving forward unless you attend the full workshop. And that's part and parcel of the registrations that we've done over the course of the weekend. Okay, so no exceptions to that. You guys have put your time in, you've worked hard, you've listened, you've attended, it's been fabulous. So we were the only people that conducted the courses in 2012. And that was the same moving forward. Yeah? Would you be okay with that? Now, this one's not up for discussion, but I'll add a little bit of discussion to it. To maintain your LF staff, this is looking at conducting them in 3 workshops. Now, we don't know the first year how many workshops we're going to have, and we've certainly got a lot of people going through training, but we will monitor how many we've done. And, you know, some people that come to the workshops, and we don't hear from them until it's time to apply again next year. We've spent a lot of time and energy, and we feel we've selected a very, very solid group, and we'd like you to be part of this moving forward. So we need you to commit to at least 3 moving forward. Now, if we get 5 people that apply for one course, and you're not selected, we'll put that down that you applied for the course. If our course numbers are down a little bit, we're hoping they're not. Okay? Is that fair?
Mark, our region, sometimes it's
Exactly. Now, again, we're going to look at different regions. If we look at them today, they nearly host 3 courses all year, so we'll work with them.
I better instruct this,
Yep. Contracts. When you all were accepted as LFs, we put a contract together for you. Again, this is in the back of your learning facilitators. And we didn't put this together just for the sake of it. It's something we really wanted you to reflect back and think about. It's a contract that you signed, so you must agree to the stuff that's in here. And the stuff that we're talking about is the stuff that we've done. Coaching code of conduct. We're educating coaches, and we're educating coaches on codes of conduct, so we must make sure you follow it as well. We're educating on the stuff in here on appearance, the stuff in here on demeanor, the whole whack of stuff. When we hand this out, take a look at it. That is what we want you to follow. Very, very important to follow that. Does that make sense? Okay. Just one more thing. I thought it was up there and I can put it on there. It's when we're involved in our workshops. It's very, 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 very easy to walk into a workshop and come up with a first impression of a person or a group of people. We want to make sure that you treat everybody with respect, no matter gender, size, age, where they're from, who they support. Okay, and I know in the past we may have crossed lines, and we may have gone into situations where we've gone into Mickey taking, or we've gone into creating names, or treating males and females different. It's very, very important that we get this right. We've got to move away from that professional. We've got to treat everybody equally. Well, no, Bobby's the exception. So, very, very important. And I know it's easy to do that. I know it's easy to walk into a group and go, I don't like him, or I don't like her. Or why is she on the course? Or why is he on the course? Okay, so please have an open mind, respect everybody. You don't know who you're dealing with, you don't know who you're working with, you really don't know what their professional backgrounds are. So Mark showed us a great way of interacting early on in sessions. People getting to know each other. Be part of those discussions, move from table to table to find out who these people are, find out what qualifications they may have outside the game, or why they're on the course. Let me ask you something. Gentlemen, how many females are in the room who are on the course this weekend? 5. 5. Okay. What are their qualifications? Thanks for that example of what not to do that. No. Let me take some time just to tell you about the other females in the room, because obviously you've not taken the time to go up to them and ask them who they are, why they're here, and all those qualifications. Linda, and on that. Linda is the only female, and I think there's probably 2 people in the country right now with a master's degree in coaching from Liverpool University. Yourself and Paul James.
Is she going to stay at her school?
She went to your university, you didn't know that. Because you didn't know that, right? The point I'm making here is that we've got this individual that's part of our group that most of you guys are not taking the time to even talk to, use her knowledge, her experience. We've got Connie. Connie Mercer has been to, I don't know how many All-Stars. I think there's only one person that's been to more All-Stars than Connie. That's Dave. So Connie, she's coached the Canada Games. She's the only female that I know of that's won the Ontario Cup and the OSL the same season, National B license. We've got Sue, who's been around for a few years. And Sue, I was looking to work with Sue in the regional program. She's a provincial B license. She's been working up in Barrie with Rick and Ray for quite a few years now, Sue. Yeah?
Is Sue from Sault Ste. Marie?
No,
Oh no, it's getting late, man.
Sophie is a national B license coach. Sophie's spent a lot of time in our provincial program and our regional program. Sophie's traveled and coached a lot of provincial teams, which a lot of you guys haven't had the opportunity to do. Sophie's got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. She works with children on an ongoing basis. So a lot of good stuff for Sophie. But Sonia, who's a teacher and has been part of our old instructors, new LF for how many years, Sonia?
8 years.
8 years. There's a lot of experience. We've got a new lady here, Karen, has come on board, and she's been part of our LF school before. Okay, so it's important that we as the LF, yeah, I'm getting that, don't worry. It's important that we get to know people. We've got Audra, who's worked for the OSA in different capacities. She worked part of our Club Excellence program, was it last year? Or? Part of Club Excellence thing that we did, she's part of the Club Excellence thing. She works out in Ottawa. She's just gone through a provincial B license. She's working in a mentorship program with us now to increase and help her with her coaching qualifications. We've got a lady behind me, Estelle, who's been around longer than most of us. She's far behind me, believe me. She's got a provincial B. So, gentlemen, you know, we've got ladies in here that have probably got more experience or more qualifications than a lot of you. But nobody took the time to talk to them, ask them. Okay, well, some of you did, some of you didn't. I recommend you all do moving forward.
You guys are cool. Still love you.
Okay, so in my excitement to deliver this today, I've missed one key point that just I was going to go over now. And it's the electronic form that we talked about. Remember we talked about the registration form? Yeah? Okay, she's going to show you now exactly what it looks like. This way.
You said I could sing and Jeff tolerated me for 2 days. He was done over now.
Yeah. 6 years is
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Point I wanted to make, first I just want to clarify one point. When Mark was reviewing the process in getting the host to fill out the electronic form, yes, they are responsible. However, at the end of the day, you as LFs, learning facilitators, are responsible to ensure that they get that form filled in correctly and back to you to complete the course. So in other words, shouldn't be a call at the end of the course, well, the host didn't fill it out. You must ensure that they have helped to fill it out, that they get it filled out, they get it to you, and back here. So just wanted to clarify that, so that we're not bottlenecking. As far as the form goes, I took the liberty of copying and filled out for you so you can get an idea. The LF fills out the one tab, which is all about the course description, etc. The second tab is strictly for the host. So 2 parts on that worksheet. and then it's back here. You can go online and test it out so that you see it and go through it. Most of you returning learning facilitators have done this already. You'll find the form has just been made a little bit easier, so not too many macros. So you can get around it pretty easy now. Okay, that's it.
Okay, Craig, just to follow up on that, we've got handouts here of the forms, of the form that you fill in and the form that the host will fill in so we can pass those around. And we've also got drafts of our operations manuals for you.
Taking the passport.